Hey, we're the Rob and Holly Show. Welcome to radio.com and welcome Jason Aldean.
Yeah, what's up? Good morning.
Oh, good morning. We were just talking a little bit before we popped on about how we are nighttime people, like big time nighttime people. But now with kids, we have internal alarm clocks, really. Or external alarm clocks. Really.
Yeah, they're external.
Yeah.
Mine get up. They do really well. They go to sleep really early. Actually, they go to sleep at 6:30 p.m. and then they sleep 12 hours. They wake up at 6:30 a.m., which is great, except for they wake up at 6:30 a.m. You know, if they could just sleep for 13 hours, would be great. But I'm not complaining. 12 hours is pretty good.
How old are your kids now?
Well, my two little ones are Memphis will be 3 in February, and Navy turns 2 in. Memphis will be 3 in December. Navy turns 2 in February.
And 12 hours is pretty good. We're getting to that point with our 1.5-year-old as well. And I was telling the same thing to my wife. I was like, can't we just put them to bed later so that we can sleep in longer? And she's like, no, it's better for their development and all this to go to bed early. So I'm following what Mama says. I'm sure you're doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's and too, it's like sometimes you put them to bed later, and I don't know. There's something about when the sun comes up, they're awake, and my two little ones, man, they hit the ground running in the morning. So by 6:30, they're ready to go to bed. They're exhausted.
Right.
I'm staying silent because I feel very lucky because mine does not wake up until 8:30 in the morning. So I just feel like we're also raising a nighttime little person.
Yeah. Hey, if it works for you, it's great. By 6:30 p.m., I just need a minute. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm more than ready at 6:30 for them to go to bed and just kind of like sit there and just have some silence in the house for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're getting more used to it now though, since you've probably been home for a while, so you're getting used to that different schedule of going to bed early and getting up early?
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm kind of getting a little more used to it. I mean, it's probably a little tougher when I'm on the road because I'm so used to having the days on the road where I'm up really late and sleep in, in the mornings. And then I'll go home and it all has to change like from one day to the next. At least now I'm kind of on the same schedule every day. So it's not flip-flopping back and forth. So it's actually been a little easier.
And I see you're back to work already again on another album number 10.
Yeah, man, we just went in this week. More than anything, it's like we're not in any rush to put it out or anything. We just kind of had time off. I mean, we're not doing anything. We're here in town and we can't play any shows or do anything. So we're just like, man, we might as well go in the studio and try and knock out some songs and just kind of get a jump on the album, So we went in this week and cut about 8 songs and just kind of to have it in the bag. And hopefully, I would say probably by March, we'll have an album done. It'll just be waiting to be released at that point whenever we decide to release it.
Now, are you going to name this album 10? Because the last one, 9, and can you tell us, I mean, I realize the story of why you named it 9, but can you tell us again why it's 9?
Yeah, so 9 was always kind of my lucky number. I mean, I grew up playing sports and thought that was going to be what I was going to do my whole life. And music was kind of a hobby for me. And 9 was my number that I always wore. So it was just kind of always my lucky number. And I remember thinking, early in my career, I'm like, man, it'd be cool if I ever made 9 albums to be able to call the album number 9. George Strait had an album called Number 7 that he put out years ago. And I always thought that was cool. And I was like, man, if we ever make 9, I'd love to just call it 9 or number 9 or something like that. And so that was kind of where that came from. But this one will not be called 10. It'll be called something else. Not that. 9.5.
Well, we're happy that you were saying that you wonder if you ever made it that far, making that many albums. So we're glad you're still doing it, man. We're loving every time you come out with something from the first one to now, man. We've been fans since the beginning.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's been a fun ride. I look back and the first album we cut in 2004 and it came out in 2005, but we recorded it in 2004. And, to just think that it's been 16 years since we cut that first album. I mean, that's been pretty wild to think. And then not only that, but just to have the success we've had over the years and be able to, still be able to go out and play our shows, and people still want to come see us, and still, loving the music. It looks like we're going to have another #1 this week. So, those kind of things just don't get old, man. It's just, when you've been in the game this long, it's just nice to know people still care and, are still digging what you're doing. So, it's been a fun ride.
And speaking of time flying, I got to thinking about that Bob Seger lyric, 20 years, where'd they go, and I know you did the CMT Crossroads a while back, and I'm just a huge Seger fan, so I had to ask, like, what was that like as a fan, just sitting down with a legend, an icon like him?
Well, Seger's always been one of my favorites, man. He's, I was always a huge fan of, what I call Americana rock. It's like, Seger and Mellencamp and those kind of things. And Seger was always one of my favorites. And I grew up in the clubs playing a lot of his stuff. And I had a chance to do the CMT Crossroads with him. And, it was just such a cool thing to sit down with somebody like him, and you're just sitting there asking questions and just, talking about things and hearing those guys tell stories. And, I think anytime you can, I think this year, probably more so than any other year, just lets you realize, like, some of these guys aren't going to be around forever, and so anytime you get a chance to sit down and just talk to them, man, and hear stories and just take it all in, it's really cool to do that. And Seger, to be able to have that show to always sort of have to go back and look at, and just, the few times I've been able to be around him and just kind of hang out, it was pretty special.
Well, we love stories. And we want to get the story behind the song of Got What I Got. And we always ask, when you first heard the song or started writing it, where were you? What were you thinking? And what were you drinking?
Well, I didn't write this song, but when I first heard it, I got pitched a song that I thought was really cool and different. We were coming off of You Make It Easy on the previous album that it was really kind of a different sound for us, but the song had done really well. And so this song kind of reminded me a little bit of that. It was something that was kind of like that we didn't have for that album. And, to me, I always feel like music is kind of a thing where you can kind of get an insight to where that artist is probably at that particular point in life or whatever. And, for me, it's that. I mean, I think it was just one of those songs that really, it kind of hit me in a way of like, man, this is, you just feel like certain songs are kind of tailor made for you and written specifically for you in mind. And I felt like, that song described everything in my life right now to a T. And so, when you hear those songs, it just kind of has a different way of grabbing you a little bit. And I fell in love with it immediately and went home and played it for my wife, which is always like the big test, I said, hey, check this thing out that I got today. And I played it, and she's like, loved it, and then once it was a hit, she's like, I told you that was going to be a hit. I'm like, I told you that was going to be a hit. That's why I brought it home and played it for you the first time. But she's always trying to take credit for stuff. But no, it was great. And like I said, it just really kind of summed up, where I'm at in life at this point, and just a really cool song that I felt like a lot of people could relate to.
And this might be a tough one, but we also want to get a story behind what your favorite song is out of everyone that you've done. It might be really challenging to pick, one out of 9, now 10 albums, but is there one that really stands out to you that you love the story behind it?
I don't know, man. I always say when it comes to picking favorite songs, it's like picking a favorite kid. It's just like they've all kind of served a different point, a different purpose in my career and to get us here, and Hicktown will always be special because it was our first one. Why was our first #1, Big Green Tractor and She's Country. Those were the songs that kind of like really sent everything into the stratosphere for us. And then Dirt Road Anthem. I mean, there's certain songs that I love to sing, and then there's certain songs that I love the reaction that we get from the crowd. One of my favorite songs to sing is Rearview Town. I love to sing that song, but one of my favorite songs to play live she's country. I mean, it's hard to like beat that, because you kick into that riff and, the crowd goes completely berserk, and that's
Yeah.
just such a cool thing to watch from the stage. So, that they all kind of have a special place, for different reasons.
I was just telling someone recently about She's Country. When I first heard it, I was working at a station in Lansing. It was my first full-time gig. I remember hearing, that heavy drop D guitar, and I was like, this is badass. This is a rock song. And I felt like that was kind of like a turning point in country music, which I thought was so cool, because you had, really paving the way for so many guys that were more rock influenced to come along. So, man, I love it.
Yeah. Well, where I'm from, I mean, is Macon, Georgia. I mean, it's the home of the Allman Brothers. It's the home of Otis Redding and Little Richard. And, so for me growing up, I had all these different sounds coming out of Georgia. You had the Black Crows that were right up the street, from Atlanta, and you had REM out of Athens. And it was just kind of this hotbed of music, of all these different kinds of things coming out. And as a teenager that's a musician that's starting, learning how to play music, you got all these things that are so cool that you want to play, and I never really put everything in one box. So, I would go out and play, we play a Black Crow song, then we play a Merle Haggard song, and then we turn around and play Allman Brothers or Skinner or something, So for me, I just always had a love for that. Rock side was always something that I really, really liked, and was such a huge influence for me. And, I think you can go back and there's some songs that really have the heavy rock influence. And then you see songs like The Truth, where it's like, man, that's showing more of the really traditional country side of all the stuff that I love. So that's the one thing one of the things I'm proudest about in my career is that, I've kind of done it in a way where it's allowed me to go and do all these different influences that I was brought up on, whether it be R&B or rock or, country, old school country or whatever. And I've never painted myself into a corner where it didn't allow me to go out and still be able to try new things and still have it accepted by the country music fans.
Well, we love that you're doing it all, man. So keep doing what you love. That's what it's all about. Well,
I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Well, we do this thing called random asked questions and asked questions. So we want to ask you a few questions, and I'll let Rod lead.
All right. Yeah, we'll wrap it up with these 5 little quick, whatever comes to your mind. What happened in your last dream that you can remember?
I don't know. It was probably one of those where I was falling and then I woke up like right when I hit the pillow, Yeah. I feel like that one happens a lot.
Yeah.
The next question, if you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have?
Probably.
It's hard to pick.
Probably like X-ray vision. I think that'd be pretty gnarly.
All right. Let's see. If you could be someone else for a day, who would it be?
I don't know. I like my life pretty well, so that's tough.
I think most people would want to be you for a day, but
yeah, I have no complaints there. But if I could trade places with somebody, it'd probably be like a baseball player, somebody that plays for the Braves. I'd like to just play ball for a day.
Wait, how about I forgot about this. Yeah. I noticed. How about Troy Aikman? I noticed he commented on one of your posts the other day, and I was like, what other celebrities is Jason Aldean hanging out with? Because I grew up just loving that. I mean, I think everyone did. It was America's Team, right? With Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, right. Deion Sanders, Michael Irving, and is it kind of crazy to kind of be hanging out with those guys sometimes?
Well, yeah. I mean, I grew up watching those guys play, and never in a million years did I think I would become friends with those guys or anything like that. And you just kind of meet them at different places. We actually played a charity thing that Troy had at his house a couple years back, and we went in and played a little show for his charity, and that's kind of how I really got to know him. And but yeah, I mean, it's cool. Chipper Jones is one of my really good friends now that I've known forever. Growing up in Georgia, watched him play all those years for the Braves, and Ended up becoming really good friends with him. And it's kind of crazy. It's crazy when you think about things like that, people that you kind of grew up watching. And, especially for me being a big sports guy when it comes to sports related stuff.
Yeah, then you realize just people are just people. But anyways, last question, Holly.
All right, next question. What was your favorite Halloween costume? Do you ever remember it from a kid or as an adult?
Favorite Halloween costume. One of mine was probably last year. I went as Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. My wife went as Khaleesi. And then our two babies went as the dragons, her two dragons or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So this year I want to go as Joe Exotic, and I want her to go as Carol Baskin. And I want the babies to go as the Tigers.
Oh man.
We'll see how it works out.
Well, we look forward to the pictures on Instagram of that one. That is fantastic.
We love Halloween, so we always try to have fun with it.
Our son was a little tiger last year, so you could definitely find a lot of little cute onesie tiger costumes for the babies.
Yeah, I got to get some of those like hideous Joe Exotic shirts though.
Oh man,
maybe a knee brace. I need the knee brace.
A nice mullet wig. Yeah, with the
yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a good one.
All right, well, yeah, we can't wait to check it out, man. We always appreciate the time and can't wait to hear the new album as well.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me this morning.
Thank you, Jason Aldean.
Jason Aldean, right here on radio.com. We'll see you.
Woo woo.
See you guys.